You know that feeling when you wake up and just drift into your day? No clear direction, just checking your phone, responding to whatever hits your inbox, and trying to stay ahead of the chaos. And then it's the end of the day, and you feel exhausted. But you can't really point to what you accomplished. Just another blur of emails, errands, scrolling, noise, and no real progress. Well, if that's you lately, you're not alone. This video isn't about motivation. This isn't about being perfect. This is about getting your life back. Because here's the truth. Discipline is what you turn to when motivation dies. And in 2025, most people are just surviving. Rent's up, anxiety is through the roof, possibly a conflict in Iran. Who knows what else is around the corner? And it feels harder than ever to build a life that actually feels meaningful, focused, and free. But it's not impossible. Not if you build it with intention. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a full reset, step by step. How to set goals that actually stick, how to get organized without burning out, and how to rebuild your time, your focus, and your momentum. We'll talk productivity, mindset, systems, and yes, the hard stuff like managing distractions, financial pressure, and that quiet voice in your head that keeps asking, am I doing enough? If you're here for a quick fix, this video isn't for you. But if you're ready to pause, breathe, and design your next chapter with clarity, you're in the right place. So let's start with step 1. Audit your life with brutal clarity. Before you can set goals, before you even think about productivity systems or time management hacks, you need to start with this. Where are you actually at right now? Like really, not the version you post online, not the version you tell your family, the real version. A few months ago, I had one of those quiet mornings where nothing was technically wrong, but I just felt off. I had a million things on my to-do list, but none of them felt important. I wasn't making progress in the gym, I hadn't called a close friend in weeks, and even though I was busy, like always busy, I felt stuck. So I pulled out a notebook, opened a fresh page, and wrote one question at the top. What's not working right now? No filters, no judgment, just honesty with myself. And that became the first step in my reset. If you're watching this and thinking, yeah, I'm overwhelmed, but I don't even know where to start, this is where you start. I want you to grab a cup of coffee, a journal or a Google Doc, and break your life down into 5 core areas: health, wealth, time, relationships, and mindset. You don't need a fancy spreadsheet. You just need honesty. Let's go through each one, and I'll show you how I rated myself when I did this recently. Health. Physically, are you where you want to be? For me personally, I had stopped meal prepping. I was skipping workouts, but my body was yelling at me. Low energy, brain fog, random aches. I gave myself a 5 out of 10 on a good day. Not a failing grade, but definitely not thriving. So ask yourself, am I fueling my body or just coasting? Am I treating myself as if I was responsible for caring for someone? Wealth. This isn't just about how much money you have. It's about how you manage it. At the time, I was paying bills, sure, but I wasn't budgeting every dollar. I didn't know how much I was spending on things like meals. I was vague about my savings goals, so I gave myself a 6 out of 10. Ask yourself, do I know where my money is going? Am I building towards freedom or just reacting to expenses as they occur? Time. This one hit hard. I was working a lot, but I wasn't using my best hours wisely. I'd start the day with emails instead of deep work. I'd find myself death scrolling social media when I meant to work on business ones. I'd say I'm busy without realizing how much time I was losing to junk tasks. So 4 out of 10. Ask yourself, am I spending my time on what matters or just what's loudest? Relationships. This is a big one that sneaks up on people. I realized I hadn't reached out to one of my closest friends in months. I had been working deeply with my clients, so they felt cared for, but ignoring my actual inner circle. My family didn't feel seen by me. And I was present, just not present. So 5 out of 10. So ask yourself, who are the people that matter most? And do they know it? Mindset. This one's more internal. Are you excited about life? Do you believe in your future? Are you mentally strong? Or are you drowning in guilt, stress, and comparing yourself to others? At the time when I did this exercise, I wasn't in a dark place, but I wasn't really lit up either. So I gave myself a 6 out of 10. Ask yourself, do I feel like I'm growing or just spinning my wheels? Here's the thing. This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about getting real so you can build forward from the truth. Because you can't build a better life from a blurry picture. Clarity is kindness to your future self. And once you've done this audit, once you've written it all down and been brutally honest, you'll feel it. That quiet moment of, okay, now I see it. So from here, we move to step 2, set real goals that actually work. Once you've done your life audit, Once you've seen where you're at, here's the next question. Where do you actually want to go? Not what other people want for you, not what looks good on Instagram or TikTok, not what's reasonable. What do you want? This part, the goal setting part, is where most people mess up because we treat goals like vague wishes. I want to be healthier. I want to make more money. I want to be more productive. But that's not a goal, that's a headline. A real goal has structure. So let me give you a framework that I use, especially when I'm feeling scattered or overwhelmed. It's a combination of two things, the SMARTer goals model and the 90-day planning system. So let's break it down. You've probably heard of SMART goals. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. But I like the version which adds elevated and revised. Because let's be honest, goals change, life shifts, and if you're not checking in or adjusting, you'll either give up or burn out. So let me show you what that looks like in real life. Let's say your vague goal is, I want to get in shape. Here's how we turn that into a SMARTer goal. Specific, I want to lose body fat and improve my cardio. Measurable, I'll track weight, waist circumference, and workout consistency. Achievable, I'll aim to work out 4 times per week and follow a meal plan. Relevant, this supports my energy, confidence, and longevity. Time-bound, I'll hit my first milestone in 90 days. Evaluated, I'll check in every Sunday night. And revised, if I'm not making progress, I'll change the approach, but not quit. You see the difference? That's a real goal. That's something you can track and work toward. Now here's the secret sauce. Most people try to plan a whole year out. That's a mistake. A year is too long. It's abstract. It invites procrastination. That's why I plan my goals in 90-day blocks. 90 days is long enough to make a real change, but short enough to stay focused and urgent. It's also how most high-performance businesses operate. Quarterly goals, hitting KPIs. If it's good enough for million-dollar companies, it's good enough for your personal life. Here's what that looks like. Step 1, pick one major outcome goal in each category of your life. Just one. So maybe for health, it's lose 10 pounds. For wealth, maybe it's save $5,000 towards an emergency fund. For time, it might be stick to your calendar 80% of the time. Then reverse engineer it. Ask, what habits do I need to build weekly? What resources do I need to learn or invest in? And what friction do I need to remove? Then you block off time in your week before the chaos starts to make sure those goals don't just stay on paper. Now here's the part nobody talks about. Your goals need to change you, not your schedule. Because if you set a goal without changing your identity, you'll sabotage yourself every time. Let me explain. If your goal is to write a book, you don't just set a word count target. You become the kind of person who writes every day. You start seeing yourself as a writer. You build the identity before the outcome. This quote from James Clear, the author of the international best-selling book Atomic Habits, is everything. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Because willpower runs out, motivation fades, but identity, who you are, that sticks. So here's your action plan. Once you've audited your life, pick one key goal for the next 90 days. Make it SMARTer, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, elevated, and revised. Then reverse engineer it and start building the habits and systems that support that identity. Don't chase 12 goals all at once. Win the next 90 days. And in the next section, we're going to talk about how to organize your time around those goals without feeling overwhelmed. But before we cover the most important step to getting those goals started, I ask that you like and subscribe to the channel. It's 100% free and helps the algorithm push our videos to more people that could use the help. Step 3, organize your time like it matters. All right, now that you've set your goals and you know what you want to work toward, it's time for the real test. How are you going to find the time to actually do it? Because here's the honest truth. If it's not scheduled, it doesn't exist. And I know that sounds cliche, but I used to make this mistake constantly. I'd say things like, yeah, I'll get to that workout later. I'll film that video sometime this week. I just need to find time to read again. But here's what I've learned. You don't find time. You protect it. If you don't protect your time, the world will fill it with distractions, obligations, and other people's priorities. So let me show you a simple, no-fluff way to take back your calendar. This isn't about packing every minute of your day. This is about making sure the right things happen first before life starts pulling at you. I call this my focus framework, and it's built around 3 things: time blocking, deep work hours, protected time versus reactive time. So let's break those down. Time blocking. Time blocking is simple, but most people overcomplicate it. All you do is assign specific tasks to specific blocks of time on your calendar. So instead of writing work on project on your to-do list, you block off 90 minutes from 9 to 10:30 and actually do it. No email, no distractions, just focused effort. It's not about being perfect. It's about creating a container for your effort. Start with your non-negotiables: sleep, work hours, family time, and meals. Then schedule your goal work first, not last, not when you have time. Put it at the front of your day if you can, even if it's just 30 minutes. These are your focus blocks. They're the hours where you're working on your life, not just in your life. Deep work hours. Now here's the upgrade. Don't just block off time. Protect your best work hours. For me, my brain is sharpest in the morning. That's when I do creative work, strategy, preparing paperwork for my clients, anything that requires deep thinking. So I treat those hours like gold. No meetings, no calls, no social media. That time is sacred to me. Ask yourself, when do you feel most focused? When are you most distracted? Are you scheduling your most important work at your highest energy hours? If not, you're wasting your best self on your least important tasks. Protected time versus reactive time. Here's a mindset shift that changed everything for me. Every hour of your day falls into one of two categories: protected time, or time you choose and defend, or reactive time, time you let other people control. Protected time is when you work on your goals, your health, your peace. Reactive time is when you're answering emails, reacting to text, saying yes out of guilt, or scrolling out of boredom. Now here's the crazy part. Most of us live 90% of our day in reactive mode, and we wonder why we feel stuck, tired, or unfulfilled. So your challenge is simple. Start reclaiming just one protected hour per day. Block it off, defend it. Use it to move the needle in your life. Even if everything else stays chaotic, if you win that 1 hour consistently, you'll feel momentum again. Look, I'm not a productivity machine. I still have days where everything falls apart, but I stopped letting my calendar happen to me and started building it for me. It's not about being perfectly scheduled. It's about being intentionally unavailable for the things that drain you, so you can be present for the things that matter. Start with just one focus block a day. Let it grow, and over time, you'll see how powerful that one decision becomes. Step 4, build a system for action and progress. All right, so you've done the audit, you've set your goals, you've started blocking time. Now let's talk about the most important part, doing the work, because this is where most people fall off. We make the plan, we set the schedule, but when it comes to follow through, life punches us right in the face. Work gets crazy, kids get sick, we lose motivation. That's why I always say this. You don't need more motivation. You need a system that survives real life. So let me show you how to build that. The system I use is made of 3 parts. Number 1, minimum viable effort. 2, routines with flexibility. 3, track and adjust weekly. So let's break these down. Number 1, minimum viable effort. This one changed everything for me. There was a time when I'd create these massive, perfect routines, 45-minute workouts, deep work schedules with my phone off, locking my office door, going someplace I couldn't be bothered. But the moment life got messy, it all fell apart. So now, instead of focusing on the perfect version of a habit, I ask one question. What's the smallest version of this action I can do consistently, even on a bad day? If your goal is to work out, your minimum viable effort is 10 minutes. That's it. If I can do more, great, but I don't break the chain. If your goal is to write more, write 100 words. Doesn't have to be good. Just keep the streak alive. It's not about lowering the standard. It's about raising the floor, because momentum matters more than perfection. Number 2, routines with flexibility. Let's talk about routines. The productivity world will tell you to build a rigid morning routine. Wake up at 5 a.m., meditate, cold plunge, journal, green juice, all before sunrise. Look, if that works for you, amazing. But for most people, it's too much, too fast. So here's what I suggest instead. Build a simple, flexible routine that covers 3 things. Mind, something that centers you, like journaling, prayer, or a walk around the block. Body, something that energizes you, a run, yoga, a short workout. Focus, something that sets intention, reviewing your calendar or top 3 priorities. And that's it. If you could do those 3 things each morning, even in 10 minutes, you're already ahead of 90% of people. And if your morning explodes, no shame. Reset, run it in the evening. The goal isn't to be robotic. The goal is to build rhythm. Number 3, track and adjust weekly. Now here's the part most people skip, and it's why they fall off. They don't check in with their system. So every Sunday, I take 10 minutes and answer a few questions. What worked this week? What didn't work and why? And what's one thing that I'll adjust next week? That's it. No shame, no judgment, just feedback. Maybe I planned 4 workouts, but only did 2. Okay, what got in the way? Was it time, energy, excuses? Instead of beating myself up, I adjust. I change the schedule, I reduce the reps, I block better time. Progress comes from iteration, not intensity. Here's the truth. If you are trying to build a better life on willpower alone, you will fail because life will keep getting messy. You'll keep getting tired, and there will always be a reason not to show up. But if you have a system, something built around consistency, minimum effort, flexible routines, and a weekly feedback, you'll make more progress in 3 months than most people make in 3 years. Small, repeated actions compound. That's the secret. In the next section, we're going to shift gears and talk about your money because nothing kills progress like financial stress, and nothing creates freedom like clarity. Step 5, get your money mindset right. All right, time for the topic nobody wants to talk about, but everybody needs to deal with: money. And I get it. Money talk can feel overwhelming, stressful, or even shameful, especially if you feel behind. But here's the truth. Money isn't everything, but a lack of money can take everything. Your peace, your freedom, your ability to say no to things you hate and yes to the things you love. So in this section, I want to help you reset your money mindset, not from a place of guilt, but from a place of clarity. Let me tell you what I wish someone told me earlier in life. Managing your money is not about being good at math. It's about being honest and consistent. You don't need to be an investment expert. You just need a basic system and the willingness to show up for it every week. Let's walk through 3 steps that have helped me and the people that I care about gain control of our money without going crazy. Step 1, track where it's going. If you don't know where your money's going, you'll never feel in control, no matter how much you make. So the first step is brutally simple. Track your spending. You can use an app like Monarch Money, which is what I use, YNAB, or just a basic Google sheet. You don't need to get fancy. You just need to see the truth. When I first started doing this, I was shocked. There were monthly charges that I'd forgotten about, subscriptions I no longer used, eating out 4 times a week. I wasn't broke, but I wasn't building as fast as I wanted. And seeing it all laid out was the wake-up call that I needed. You don't need to track it forever, but you do need to track it long enough to build awareness. Step 2, build a simple budget. The word budget sounds restrictive, like a punishment, but a good budget isn't about saying no. It's about knowing where your yes is taking you. So here's the simplest formula that I recommend starting with. 50% are your needs: rent, mortgage, groceries, utility, phone bills. 30% are wants: eating out, travel, fun money. 20% is growth: saving, investing, and paying down your debts. You can adjust this depending on your situation. If your income is tight, you might flip the ratios, and that's okay. The goal is to give every dollar a job, so you're not just reacting to your bank balance every week. Step 3, define your freedom number. This one's powerful. Your freedom number is the amount of money that you need each month to live your life the way you want. Not extravagance, not luxury, just freedom. The ability to choose what you do with your time. For some people, that number is $2,500 a month. For others, it's $8,000. It depends on your life, your responsibilities, and your goals. Once you know that number, you can reverse engineer your path toward it. Ask yourself, how much do I need to save to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses? What side income could move me closer to this number? What spending habits are pulling me away from it? When you focus on your freedom number, money becomes a tool, not a stressor. And look, if you're living paycheck to paycheck right now, I'm not going to insult you with just cut your Netflix advice. This isn't about blaming you for your financial situation. This is about giving you agency, control in life. Because the moment you start tracking, planning, and making those small adjustments, you stop feeling like a victim of your bank account. And that shift, that feeling of, I got this, it changes everything. In the next section, we're going to dive even deeper, not into strategy, but into your soul. We're going to talk about your purpose, how to reconnect with the deeper why behind your goals, and how to stay aligned when life gets noisy. Step 6, reconnect to purpose. Okay, we've talked about goals, systems, money, and time. But if you're still feeling stuck, or if you've been doing all the right things but still feel kind of empty, this part is for you. Because sometimes what we need isn't just another tactic. Sometimes what we need is to be clear on why we're doing any of this to begin with. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with it. What is your life actually about? Not what your resume says, not what your Instagram bio says. What matters to you? I remember a season in my life where I was crushing every productivity system you can imagine. I was scheduling my time, eating clean, hitting all my goals, but I was also burned out, disconnected, always tired, but yet never still. And the reason? I had confused progress with purpose. I was optimizing my life, but I wasn't connected to what really mattered underneath it all. That's when I started doing a practice I still use today. And I'd encourage you to try it too. It's called a purpose reset. The purpose reset is a 10-minute practice. Take out a piece of paper or open a Google Doc and write these 5 questions. What do I want my life to feel like? What kind of person do I want to be remembered as? What makes me feel alive, even if I'm not good at it? Who do I feel most myself around, and why? And if I had 1 year left to live, how would I spend it? Don't overthink this. Just write. Let it be messy. You might surprise yourself with the answers. Because once you reconnect with your why, the how becomes much easier. The discomfort becomes worth it. The discipline feels less pressure and more like freedom. And here's the thing. Most people today aren't lazy or broken. They're just too distracted to hear through their own thoughts. So try this. Put your phone in another room, close the laptop, and just sit in silence for 5 minutes. That's it. No podcast, no playlist, no scrolling. It's going to be uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is the beginning of finding out what you truly want. And you might hear something in that silence, a desire, a conviction, a direction that you haven't heard in a while. Purpose lives in people. So if you've been isolated lately, if you've been grinding alone, it might be time to reach out. Send the text, make the call, reconnect with people who make you feel more like yourself. Because progress is great, but it's empty without people to share it with. And when you surround yourself with people who remind you of your values, your beliefs, and your heart, stop drifting. This isn't about becoming a productivity machine. It's about becoming a person who lives on purpose, with intention, with presence. You don't need to fix your entire life in 1 week. But if you reconnect with your why, if you quiet the noise long enough, you'll move forward with the kind of peace and confidence that no app, no planner, and no system can replace. So let's put it all together. I'm going to give you a simple 7-day challenge to start applying everything that we've covered and help you rebuild momentum in real time. Step 7, the 7-day reset challenge. All right, so you made it to the end. We've covered a lot in this video, from life audits and goal setting to time blocking, systems, money, and purpose. And I just want to say, if you've stuck with me this far, it tells me something about you. You're not looking for a quick dopamine hit, scrolling through social media. You're not here for the shallow motivation. You're here because you want to build something real, something that lasts. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something. I call it the 7-day reset challenge. It's not a full life overhaul. It's not about going all in and burning out. It's about stacking small wins, proving to yourself that you can follow through, that you have what it takes, even in a tough season. So here's how it works. For the next 7 days, I want you to commit to just 5 small things every day. Write them down, put them on a sticky note, set them as your lock screen, whatever it takes. Your list might look something like this. Number 1, wake up at a consistent time. No hitting the snooze button. Number 2, move your body for at least 10 minutes each day. Number 3, block off 1 hour of protected focus time. Number 4, track your spending just once per day. And 5, write down 3 thoughts or reflections before you go to bed. That's it. Not because those things are magical, but because the act of showing up, even in small ways, builds momentum. And momentum is how you get your power back. Look, I don't know your exact situation. Maybe you're rebuilding after a loss. Maybe you're burned out working 2 jobs. Maybe you're quietly doing okay, but you feel disconnected and restless. Wherever you are, I just want to remind you of something. You are allowed to reset. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to grow. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to begin. One small win at a time. If this video helped you in any way, take a second and share it with your friends and family. You never know when someone needs to hear these things. And if you want more content like this, videos about living with clarity, building systems, staying grounded, subscribe to the channel. I've got more coming your way. Until then, be kind to yourself, stay focused, and don't forget, small steps change everything if you're willing to take them. I'm Alewelt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.